now's the time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there. And we've got to lead it.
True internet suffered depression.
Who are fake news?
I am not suicidal.
We'll circle back with you directly. If I can circle back, I'll circle back with you. Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Hello and welcome to episode 257 of the Jeffrey and Brian Show. I am Jeffrey.
And I'm Brian.
Oh, these two guys drinking some beer, talking what's going on. We have a semi-recurring guest with us on again, the dirty tranny known as Claire.
Hello.
Well, actually, before we get into any of these topics, I wasn't going to talk about it at all, but since we have a transgender with us right now,
Oh no.
who is a gamer, what do you think of the new Dragon Age garbage that's floating around?
I play real video games. Honestly, these are just RPGs that hold your hand. I can see why snowflakes would play these, and honestly, the metrics are doing pretty good as far as this game goes. For a woke game, it's not. It's probably going to make its money back.
Well, apparently in the game, they spent 2 minutes shaming people for misgendering people.
I heard about that. I am just,
Yeah.
yeah.
You had to do 10 push-ups.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things. It's like if somebody calls me comrade in the video game, I automatically turn it off and delete it.
Yeah. Like, yep, no, we're not the crew. I don't even care what kind of game these guys have to make. All right. Well, we got some follow-up stuff going on.
Okay.
And if you've been following the news at all, Claire, I'm sure you've seen what's going on with Boeing, right?
Oh yeah.
Apparently now they're looking to sell their space business.
Well, it's convenient timing considering what SpaceX did recently.
Oh, SpaceX is ridiculous what they're pulling off. And then you got what's his name? Bezos. Is it Bezos that wants to do the same thing with a Blue Origin?
I think so.
Yeah, and Boeing, I mean, the panels are falling off their aircraft. They can't get the astronauts out of space. We just lost a Navy jet that was Boeing designed and built up in Washington State.
And you know what's funny is Boeing has probably just as big of a body count at the Clintons at this point.
Probably, yeah. And well, the question is Boeing going to bounce back because they're too big to fail?
Oh, well, the too big to fail thing comes from like the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac
Yeah,
money
look how that
crisis.
worked out.
Oh, I know, but at the same point is those banks had the controlling stake of government retirement funds, especially those when it came to the senators and congressmen. So they may get a bailout, but I'm not thinking that they're gonna make it through this unscathed.
Well, do you think I should invest when the stock is low?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
If
what
you
I'm thinking.
invested
It's like,
in Ford when they're low, they bounced back, and they
Yeah.
got a bailout. So
I'm still trying to decide if I should invest in Anheuser-Busch or not, but that doesn't look like that's going to be bouncing back.
maybe in a few years, but
Honestly, I don't mind sitting on stock for 2 or 3 years before I see an actual return, as long as it comes back. You know what I mean?
yeah. And,
But realistically, all they need to do is say, "Yeah, we screwed up. We forgot who our customers are," and everything would be fine. Go back to girls in bikinis. You know what I mean?
yeah, fuck, that even worked for me.
It works for women, dude. Like, women are attractive. That they
Yeah.
look good. That they're easy on the eyes. Even other women enjoy looking at women because they're pretty. Dudes are utilitarian and wonky. You know. I got hair growing on most of my body.
I've seen you without your shirt on once. You look like a fucking Sasquatch.
I am a hairy man. That is for damn skippy. Luckily, it's not all over my back. By the way, I've been looking for Sasquatch out here in West Virginia. I haven't seen him yet.
Oh no, we got him
Keep
down here in
looking.
Georgia.
You're in Georgia now?
Yeah, he's been there. She's been there for a while.
2 years.
Uh, Yeah, I know. For some reason, I keep thinking you're in Chicago or something.
Oh, she left there
Yeah,
Yeah.
for greener pastures.
just went to go live on a farm. Uh, excuse me. Well, we've been talking about how the White House administration, the current administration has been quietly revising statistics after they've been out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the FBI once again revised their crime stats again. Dark of night, didn't tell anyone, just like they did with jobs reports, and it's showing that crime's actually up, not down. I don't know. It makes me want. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, this would be the October surprise if either one of the political opponents had a brain in their head.
See, it's good to hear some other libertarians over here. I don't know if you're necessarily a libertarian, but you're like, is Trump really the best that Republicans can come up with?
Yeah, I actually kind of feel that, yeah.
And realistically, I agree with most of Trump's points because he's not as far right as everyone wants to say.
He's
But
not.
no, he's definitely not. I mean, he's a New York liberal from the 90s. I don't know. I like to.
Oh boy, sorry to interrupt. It's
No,
one of
no.
those things though that's the Overton window has shifted so far, and
Yeah, and he says that all the time because he used to be a libertarian.
Who?
You.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've never considered myself a big L libertarian because I don't like being in any party. And the libertarians are always too busy arguing with each other who's more libertarian than the next guy. Um, what's the dude that's got the nomination for the Libertarian Party? Oliver Chase, is it?
I'm not paying attention because he's not actually bringing in any headlines or anything like that.
No, he's a schmuck.
Oh,
Uh,
it's the problem. That's kind of the problem with the party is they don't elect their intelligent people. Their intelligent people would much rather smoke weed and do scholarly work than actually run for office and change things. It's pretty much a party right now of the people that want power are the dumb shits, and the people that don't want power are the people you wish would run.
yeah. Well, actually, good point. You saying it that way is back in the '90s, like Oprah Winfrey and all these other folks were asking Donald Trump to run for president
Yeah,
because he's just so successful, everyone loves him, and then he does, but he switched to the other party and they lose their minds.
it's honestly, I think Trump was a bit of an opportunist, and I'm pretty sure in that case, I'm pretty sure here's what went down is he probably tried to run as a Republican. No, sorry, as a Democrat originally, and they told him no. So
RFK Jr. style.
yeah,
Yeah. Nope,
except
that's
he
not going to
didn't
happen,
even
buddy.
get into the race. I mean, shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's entirely possible. You think we would have heard about that, but it could have been so long ago, it wasn't worth bringing up.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'm sure you heard about this Laken Riley young lady as well, right?
No, no, no. You guys fill me in.
She was the one who was beaten to death while out jogging by an illegal migrant. Her head was smashed off the asphalt until she expired.
Oh God, that sounds horrible.
It is, well, it is believed that she fought off a rape attempt and the man killed her.
And the man
In
is
the
suspected to be a illegal immigrant, right?
Oh no, it's known to be an illegal immigrant. Jose Ibarra. He is actually asking for certain evidence to be suppressed with the trial coming up, saying that oh, here we go. Evidence from his cell phones, which the attorneys are saying were illegally obtained by law enforcement, and the testimony from a witness who performed DNA testing during the autopsy because apparently the results, quote, did not exclude defendant, but also did not exclude another known individual associated with the case. So I don't know.
It sounds like Hail Marys.
Maybe, but the law is the law. If the police illegally seize property to use as evidence, which sounds difficult, depending on the situation, but then you can't use it in a courtroom.
Yeah, I mean, you actually need a warrant in most states to crack open somebody's phone.
Yes, because it's locked. Just like any other lock, you need permission to
I'm going to
go
say the
get
same
through it.
thing I say about most of these cases. There may be more that's going on that we're not aware of. So,
Well, I'm certain of it because this was like over a year ago, I believe.
yeah. So I would wait to see what's revealed in court.
Yeah, young lady, a really pretty girl, as I recall.
Hmm.
And I mean, not that it would make a difference if this person was a hobgoblin troll. You know what I mean? But it
Yeah,
just
it probably wouldn't get as much attention, but
maybe, and maybe that's just why it seems like the ones that are brought up to the surface are always like very pretty young ladies that are taking care of themselves. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And apparently, the Secret Service fucked up so bad with the assassination attempt of Trump that people may actually be disciplined. Uh, Brian, I don't know if you know you're still muted from your coughing fit. Uh,
I do, I do, I do.
okay,
I'm
I wasn't
so
sure.
surprised. It's craziness.
I am surprised because I didn't think anyone was going to get in any trouble for this, especially since the director resigned. I thought that was going to be enough.
Never.
Uh, but there was just too much stuff. The cascade failure that had to occur for this to go down when someone wasn't at least looking the other way on purpose is like hitting the lottery every night for a month straight, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still predict nothing else is going to happen, but perhaps it will. Uh, it took a long time for for our oh my God, what's his name there? The guy who played the dad in Beetlejuice, Alec Baldwin. The Alec Baldwin case. That took what 2, 3 years to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we making predictions on who gets elected president?
I think Trump gets more electoral votes. Trump has a chance to get more of the majority vote.
The rumors
I
are going around to get more popular votes. I don't give two shits about that because that don't
I
matter.
do. I do because it's one less thing that the Democrats can complain about because they always do.
Yeah, well, they're going to complain either way. So,
Okay. There's a statistic out there that says the approval rating right now is only at 28% of the people in charge right now. So if Kamala wins, being somewhat of an incumbent and the incumbent party, well, she is part of the incumbent party. If she wins, this will be the first time in history where you had the Democratic Party with only a 20% approval rate being in control of the government winning.
I think I saw the same thing you saw. It was on CNN, right? And it was
Yes.
28% approval.
Yeah. It's only 28% approval right now. It's
Yeah.
like ridiculously low.
Well, Trump last time received more votes than he did the time he won the presidency. And that's the first time in American history a president received more votes than last time and did not win the presidency.
well, I'm a firm believer that most people that vote against Trump are not like voting for the candidate like Kamala. They're voting against Trump.
True, but the Democrats seem to find a way to pull it out. So like I'm not going to put it past them to do something that I consider unethical, even if it is quote legal. But I mean, they went and violated Pennsylvania's constitution
How
last
many
time.
times?
Yeah, and the judge was just like, yeah, too late now. It doesn't matter now. But before the fact, they said you don't have any standing because nothing's happened yet.
Right.
So, I mean,
All Trump's got to do is win like Pennsylvania or Michigan, and it's all over.
well, Michigan's got a real shot with that whole Muslim thing going on right now
Right.
because you got a whole bunch of them in, I can't remember that one town where they took over the government. But yeah, a bunch of them moved there a long time ago, and they're very upset about what's going on in Israel, which I'm laughing my ass off because if they think voting Trump instead of Harris is going to make it less easy for Israel to do what they're doing, they're out of their minds.
Well, it's not only that. I mean, have you listened to the Muslim advocates from that town? Is they're not only pissed about Israel, but they're also pissed about their infringement on their religious liberties.
Well, hey, yeah, welcome to the fold, other Abrahamic religion. For whatever reason, the left seems to love Islam until they realize how conservative Muslims actually typically are.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the planet. They're covering the women are covering their faces up because they can't be seen in public by other men.
yeah. I actually had a Harris supporter come to my house recently.
Oh, how'd that
Nice.
go?
It was funny. I opened the door and he just lit up like, "Oh my God, trans person, somebody I could talk to." And
Quick, let me go get
Evelyn,
my shotgun.
yeah, Evelyn and me are both from California, right? And Evelyn and me have this agreement that we are not going to vote for somebody that has actively participated in the downfall of the state that we come from. So,
Well, that's a lot of people in California. Then pretty much
oh
anyone
yeah,
who's held office in the last 20 years.
yeah. So I politely explain it to this man, and the look of defeat on his face was fucking priceless. The
Yeah, yeah.
shock, the horror, and the man actually stuttered on his way out of our driveway.
Is this the same? Yeah, apparently you married this person.
We're getting married in August.
Okay, well, congratulations.
Thank
Is
you.
this the same individual that I've spoken to before? The
Yes.
the the Satanist.
Yes.
So yeah, the Democrat guy coming to your door couldn't get the transgender and a Satanist to vote Democrat.
Nope.
Ooh, that lets you know the Republicans really do have this locked down. I mean, obviously it's just a anecdote, but
Oh, I
ooh,
mean, we're in Georgia, so this is I see freaking Kamala Harris and Trump stuff everywhere right now. And it's just
oh,
like,
it's everywhere here.
yeah.
Yeah. A funny thing though is I mentioned the Muslims and covering their faces up.
Hmm.
There was a visiting family that came through my Catholic church last week. This couple had 7 children, and all of the girls had their hair covered with like some kind of knit lacy thing.
Oh God.
And I was like, who brought the Puritans?
God.
I was like, I went to Latin mass as a kid, and I'm calling these folks Puritan. Uh, yeah, and it's funny because I went to church yesterday. I don't know if other Christian religions see November 1st as a day of obligation, but there was my family, 2 other people, the priest, and the deacon, and that was it. Small, I mean, it's tough to find Catholics out here anyway, and it's a small, little, tiny church.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm not sure. Are we going to cover the Catholics getting a new anime character?
Tell me about it now, because we're still in follow-up, and we did bring up the Catholic Church a couple times in the last couple of weeks because of all the craziness, to include
The
the Sisters of
Catholics,
Perpetual Indulgence coming up again.
the Catholics have released anime character that they're going to use in like short little cartoons to help get kids back into church.
First
Uh,
shot, I guess.
I was laughing at the whole ordeal because it's like it's the whole Buddy Christ thing from Dogma.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
It
Who
doesn't
loves
look
you?
like Buddy Christ, but it literally is like a whole like anime thing. I'll actually,
I have a buddy, Christ. Yeah, with the thumbs up pointing at you and like, who loves
yeah,
you?
but it's a little Catholic anime girl. Like it's funny. She's wearing a raincoat and everything. It's absolutely hilarious that they think this will work. Just the whole meme of the Catholics releasing the cartoon characters, just it's so priceless.
Yeah, that's a mistake. Realistically, the way to get people back into faith is the parents that still do it to, as terrible as it sounds, drill it into their heads young. Because I wandered from the church for a long time, but my mom beat it into my head growing up. And I'm going back to church now because I realized they sent me a lot of, oh my God, I see the picture you sent me. Uh,
I'm sending that to prove you guys I'm not bullshitting.
yeah. But the values the Catholic Church holds are
Hey,
generally good in
yeah.
terms of like self-responsibility and treat others the way you would like to be treated.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it's
Actually, we were just talking about on Tuesday, we were talking about how Kamala Harris went to a church in Pennsylvania and told all the Catholics there to vote Harris because God wants them to. I was like, yeah, you clearly don't understand the Ten Commandments
yeah,
because
I mean that's
to say that you know what God's plan is and God wants you to do something, that's just
pardon the joke if you're in it into religion. That's like saying you walk in front of a bunch of Satanists and saying Satan told you that he wants you to vote for her. So,
yeah,
and if you know anything about the church, that's absolutely hilarious. So,
don't know. Well, isn't It depends. There's two major satanic temples, I believe, right? One of
And
them is
both of them
more
are atheistic. Both of them are they are atheistic.
okay. Well, I know one of them is more libertarian, just like get your
Mhm.
nut and don't care about anyone else.
Okay, one of them is how do I put it? It's more of an inverse looking towards it's more of a it's Christianity without being Christianity. It's like the worst parts of the 1990s Christianity formed into
The
a
satanic
religion.
panic.
Yeah. And these are the people that make the headlines and stuff like that. And then there's the one that's like, I'm an atheist, leave me alone. This is you just don't get it. Here, read the books.
Well, here's the thing that gets me about atheists. Because atheism is to say there is no God
Hmm.
versus agnosticism, which is I don't know. You can't prove a negative. You can't prove there is no God. So
Yeah, and I guess I'm wrong on that one. Evelyn's definitely more agnostic, so
yeah, maybe there's something out there. I mean, something started everything, whatever that is, even if it's the clicking run on the program, that could be
oh
God.
yeah, I guess I'm more hippie-ish than Evelyn is because I bring up things like nanoic science, if you've ever read into that, and the whole um
Well,
I
how
can't
is
remember.
simulation theory any different than creationism?
You have a point there.
They're the same things that one takes place on a hard drive and one takes place in an empty vacuum of nothingness.
Fair point.
Ryan has already passed out.
Oh wow. No,
Nah,
Yeah.
he's
he's
trying not
shaking his
to.
head. He's shaking his head. We might be boring him. Move on to the
No,
next
I know.
topic.
He does it every time Catholicism comes up. He's like, crazy Catholics. uh, so, okay, you remember this Breonna Taylor civil
Yes.
thing that was okay? Apparently, the jury found the officer guilty of like violating some civil rights. But last I remember hearing, Breonna Taylor was involved in the gunfight, wasn't she?
No, not if
I remember
no,
hearing that
she
coming out that she was definitely involved. Oh no, okay, no, she wasn't involved in the gunfight, but she definitely knew they were like being drugs sold out of this place or something like that. Uh, I don't know.
how
I
do I
don't know
put it?
enough of the details, but finally that got resolved because they said she was unarmed and shot, but that's because the police tried to execute a warrant and her boyfriend fired the police through the door, right?
I believe that there was a gun involved. I just know that okay, Breonna Taylor did not need to die in that situation. Um,
No one needed to die.
oh, completely agree with you on that one. The cops, if the guy did shoot first, that guy, I don't think the cops should be charged. But at the same point is, cops have become a scapegoat in the last few years.
Apparently, I'm on airplane mode and connected to the internet, and I don't know how that happens.
Lucky.
Sorry, I was just looking at my taskbar at the bottom of my laptop here. So, well, like I said, I didn't follow this case particularly close. It was all the news for a while when it was new. But all right, well, let's move on to our intro material. Here's some interesting stuff. Apparently, they found a new Mayan, or not new. They found recently discovered a Mayan city in the jungle of Mexico. Uh, Pyramids,
That's amazing.
roadways, parks, all sorts of stuff set up. And this was discovered by accident when they were surveying out looking for something else.
No, that's kind of typical with archaeology, discovering something by accident. But
Yes, yes.
um,
Um, but that's nuts that the jungle in Mexico is still so unexplored. They were finding ancient civilizations that have been wiped
oh
out, you know?
yeah, but it's so damn dense. It's hard to get through that stuff. Like,
It really is, but you still would think we would have some kind of modern technology that we'd be able to see this shit from space.
yeah, but the modern technology that they're using doesn't get as much funding as the stuff looking outward.
Yeah, I suppose. Uh, Did you see this commercial? The Democrats, or maybe not the Democrats themselves released it. Maybe it was someone else who did it for them. But okay, I'm sure you're familiar that like the porn industry is supporting Harris. They're saying you're going to take away our porn if Trump is elected. I don't know if
Yeah.
you're okay. Did you see this vile pro pornography ad where this guy was in his bed with his phone, slapping the salami, and this dude with a red tie comes in and is like, "You can't do that in here." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "I'm here to watch you." And he's like, "I'm your Republican representative." Like, what?
Yeah,
And this is
God, okay, because that makes perfect sense because Republicans are often just whacking their meat just as much as Democrats are.
well, this
Everyone,
this is apparently what the Democrats, or at least this organization, thinks of the Democrat voter or the males in general in this country, that they just want to jerk off and they want to be able to bang broads and have them have abortions.
well, do you know why I think this is? Is
The incel movement because of
no, no,
dating apps.
it's much simpler than that. Democratic women are insufferable. They know they're insufferable, so they know that they're driving their men to porn.
Oh yeah, well MGTOW. Have you followed any of this MGTOW crap?
I follow it every now and then. I
Yeah,
mainly follow like the women in the movement, the Dadvocate, the Roma Army, stuff like that.
I see. I tried to do the Roma Army thing. I had to give up on her. She's a nut job.
Oh, she is a nut job, but
Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. And then apparently she used to do like naked pictures you could buy or something.
yeah.
And all I could think was, who would want to see her naked?
Oh, entirely too skinny. But
Uh, but yeah, like apparently this is what the Democrats think of the elites at least think of men in this country is that all that matters is getting off. I don't care about anything else.
well, I mean, look at the male figures of their movement. The Epsteins, the Weinsteins, the Diddies. Um,
Clintons.
well, yeah, but I'm going with enough recent material here.
Just well, Hillary Clinton's still pertinent in modern conversation. Bill has
Oh,
been campaigning for Kamala.
no, fair point. I mean, but seriously though, there's enough like people that have been supporting the Democrats that have been. There's an alarming amount of them that come out as predators. So
Well, isn't Doug Emhoff supposed to be the new face of masculinity?
I thought that was Waltz.
Well, Emhoff is Harris's husband.
I thought they were
He's the one
trying to.
he's the one who knocked up the nanny when he was married to his first wife,
Yeah, this guy
and he's
is.
been accused of beating a woman in public.
Yeah, I heard
Yes.
about that. I knew he wasn't a bad. No, I knew he was a very bad dude, but I did not know that much.
Yeah. And I get a good laugh too because like why won't men vote Kamala Harris? And I'm sitting here like I don't know. Why don't you go ask the fucking bear?
Yeah, like I said, the women are insufferable.
Yeah, that's nuts. They said they'd rather come across a bear in the woods than a man. I'm like, you're fucking nuts. You've never seen a bear in real life, then.
Oh, I know, but they're like the bear would eat me. The man might rape me. It's like
Yeah, it's like at least I know what to expect from the bear. I was like, no, you don't.
no,
No,
you don't.
you don't.
It can charge you. It could freaking eat you. It could,
It could ignore you altogether. Like, I don't care. What are you gonna do? I'm just here to
Oh,
get
I
eat
know. I
mushrooms.
mean, if the bear ignored them, I would feel bad for the bear because they would just yell at the bear at that point in time.
They would start shaming the bear.
But I'm not good enough for you.
If you won't, okay, this may sound like it's directed at you, but it's not. If you won't have sex with a trans woman, you're transphobic. I'm like, no, no, I just don't like penises. It's like
They would
that's
say they would tell the bear, "You ain't shit," and the bear would turn them into shit.
yeah, exactly. And just and make sure you pepper spray that bear first so it's shit is nice and spicy. You know what I mean? Uh, but anyway, speaking of getting eaten and destroyed, did you see this shit? Joe Biden bit 3 babies on Halloween.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, is he? What the?
And I saw a
What?
hilarious meme because apparently one of the kids was dressed up like a
Well, he
chicken.
chose
Thought,
treat every single time. That's all I'm saying about that one.
mm, yeah, sniffing him was not good enough anymore.
No, he's got to get a little deeper now.
But yeah, I saw a hilarious meme of Trump leaning out the drive-through window at McDonald's. like with a yelling face on, and it says, "Joe, that's a kid, not a chicken McNugget."
Oh, okay. I loved Trump because they called his people garbage. So what's he do at the very next rally?
Oh, we got a whole category titled garbage coming up.
Oh God, I'll save it then because that was just
Yeah.
so priceless news for the
One
week.
of the most epic things I've ever seen in my life, possibly the greatest campaign move I've ever seen. All right. Whew. Yeah, he bit the three babies, and I'm gonna cut him a little bit of slack. He's a very old man. The whole "you're so cute, I can eat you up" thing. But the thing is, these weren't little like nibbles you would give someone like that way. They like put the whole kid's foot in his mouth.
I know. Honestly, I think it's the fact that he's according to his own daughter, he's a pedo, and now he's just like, he can't control himself no more.
God. Hey, Brian,
But
you familiar with Hugh Hewitt?
no,
Yeah, Brian's gonna pass out, that's for sure.
no.
God.
Well, apparently he quit the Washington Post uh, live on a televised event. Did you see this, Square?
No.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. This was talking about the whole he wants to assassinate Liz Cheney thing, which don't worry, we will be talking about that.
Oh God.
And he's like, that's not what the hell happened. You know it. You know you're lying. You know you're putting in your opinion. We're supposed to be journalists here. And like, well, I don't need to be lectured about journalism. And then he goes and starts talking about someone's opinion. They publish as fact. And the guy, Hugh Hewitt was like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm done. Just got up and walked away. Oh, I thought it was great. I thought it was great. This guy was like, this is ridiculous. Like anyone who's not retarded knows better.
Uh-uh. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I was following the beeper moment this week.
Oh, that was, oh my God, that was so good. And he should not have backed down from that.
No, he shouldn't have, but I guarantee you somebody held his con his head.
Hope your beeper doesn't go off. Then he got banned from the channel.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Yeah, Hewitt quit. Uh, I don't care. Apparently, some migrant gang destroyed some Airbnb property. I really don't care. It's in Colorado. If you're anywhere near where you're hearing about these gangs taking over and you're renting out your property when you're not there, you're out of your mind.
Oh yeah. Me and Evelyn actually, the year I moved in here, we had some less than reputable people asking us if we lived here full time.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Hey, just to drive her nuts for like 3 days, can you do me a favor and call her Eve?
Yeah.
Because you know it'll drive her nuts, right?
Oh, I know it will. She'll
The
just
fact that you call her Evelyn and not Eve means she definitely doesn't want to be associated with Eve. And when she says, "What? Why do you keep doing that?" Like, oh, asshole asked me to do it, and I thought it'd be funny.
she'll give me the side eye for like a week.
Well, you know that's what the song "Silent Night" was actually about. The Christmas song. Joseph forgot to make reservations at the motel, so Mary had to give birth in the manger and wouldn't speak to him for days.
Oh my God.
See, I can make jokes.
Yeah, yeah.
Brian, what's going on? What's going on in Virginia?
I
Jesus,
don't know.
You don't know. Well, apparently, I don't even know what this is. Something in Newport News is. Look, he's got one eye open trying to read.
Yeah,
What time do you start drinking, buddy?
3.
Oh, that'll do it. That's 5 hours now.
Yeah.
All right, well, okay. Well, I don't know about that story, but I do this next one. The Norfolk postal employee been accused of stealing mail. Why?
Why not? Mail's good.
Cash is in mail.
The mail is worse than stealing a UPS package. Now you're tampering with like the federal government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with the federal government, right?
Oh, I mean, the post office has its own SWAT team, right?
They probably do.
No, they actually do.
Oh, I know they have the police department because I spoke to them once.
No, they actually have
Uh,
their own SWAT team. There was a case, I forget what company it was, that actually got raided by the post office's SWAT team because they were shipping everything FedEx instead of through the U.S. mail system. So they used their SWAT team, raided their entire building, and you can look this one up and actually find this company because their mail wasn't deemed sufficient enough to be overnight shipped through FedEx every single
that seems
time.
so. I have to use the federal government to transport, but that just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's the law is you have to use it. It's the way they maintain their monopoly and keep it running.
Yeah, that's a real problem too, because the Constitution does not say there shall be a United States Post Office. It says there may be. We could abolish it altogether, stop paying for it, and let private companies take over.
Oh, I know we could. It's just like I'm saying is the
Because it's
government
not so.
in order to fund the post office created a monopoly in there and then gave the monopoly teeth to enforce itself.
Yeah, I spoke to the detective once because I ordered mercury
Mm-hmm.
and someone shipped it to me in the mail in a glass jar and it broke open at
Oh,
the hub in Norfolk.
oh no.
Oh, dude, it shut down mail for like a week and a half down the entire mid-Atlantic region of the United States. Uh, and I'm talking to the guy on the phone, and he's like, "So what?" It's like your name is on it and your address. I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, What's going on?" Like, we found a bunch of mercury. It completely contaminated this entire area. I was like, "I ordered some mercury online, and some guy was supposed to ship it to me." He goes, "Well, it broke." I'm like, "Well, okay, what do you want me to do? I didn't mail the stuff through the postal service." Like, I'm not the guy who didn't label it properly to be handled properly, you know? So
Right.
yeah, they wanted the guy's information. I was like, "Yeah, go fuck that guy," because I didn't get my mercury and I already paid for it. Which, by the way, I ended up getting some mercury later. I got about 15 pounds, maybe.
You
Not
have to.
not as much as you would think it would be.
No, it's considered relatively dense.
It's very heavy. It's cool because check this out. I once put I used a metal bowl. I filled it. I put the mercury in it. Hooked a battery up to either side of the bowl, and I put a bullet in the middle.
Hmm.
The bullet sat there and floated on top and started spinning in circles.
That's awesome.
I was like, "Oh, this is so cool. This is why I got mercury."
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why does it do that? That is amazing. I got to look this up.
I know exactly why I did it, and I knew it was going to happen. That's why I did it.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's but shoot, I've actually used it to make mercury switches. When I like flip something open,
Hmm.
the mercury rushes to one side, closes the circuit, turns the light on, for example, you know?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's just fun to play with. Problem is you have to make sure you treat this stuff very seriously because it is insanely toxic.
Yeah.
Like, I put plastic down when I use the stuff to make sure anything that gets dropped I can clean up. And then I also have powdered sulfur on hand. If sulfur and mercury touch, they there's a reaction and they combine. You get mercury sulfide, and it is inert. So if you are going to play with mercury, understand the risk you're taking, and make sure that you don't allow this stuff to contaminate the groundwater or anything else.
No, I mean, it's not as bad as uranium 345, but I mean, come on.
Correct. That's not as easy to get your hands on.
Oh, no. I mean,
Mercury you
considering,
can just buy.
yeah. I wonder if you can buy uranium.
I mean, I know it's a fact you can because we use it in power plants, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, someone's buying it. Same argument I brought up about the Second Amendment. Like, oh, America, you shouldn't be allowed to own nuclear weapons. Civilians shouldn't be allowed to own nuclear weapons. Like, where the fuck do you
Right.
think the federal government gets them from?
Yeah. Private companies.
Yeah, it's like they go to Lockheed Martin and buy them. Lockheed Martin's a bunch of civilians that own these nuclear weapons. They're building them and selling them.
Well, I think they're on a lend lease program because to do maintenance on the missiles, the Air Force actually has to send them back to their manufacturers.
Yeah, but remember, the Air Force only has the ground-based nuclear system. And we have this whole triad.
Yeah.
I mean, how many? what percentage of the United States nuclear payload that is ready to be deployed do you think is on a Navy vessel right now?
Ooh. Let's see. Generously, I'd say about 20%.
Oh, I bet it's more than that. I bet I know as a fact we got a boomer sitting out next to Russia somewhere and China. You know, what I mean, we got these submarines sitting out there loaded with nuclear weapons all the time.
Oh yeah,
Now,
but
don't get me wrong, these nuclear silos we have stateside, there's a bunch of them. Those are all Air Force controlled, but those are doomsday weapons.
yeah, those
That
are.
yeah, that's supposed to be okay. Well, we're being wiped off the planet. We're going to wipe them off the planet too,
Yeah. No,
which
well,
is terrifying.
a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I mean, I know we have nuclear artillery. May not be in active service, but we have nuclear artillery.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely designed it, and I've been talking about this for a while. Like, I'm certain we have nuclear payload mortar rounds.
Davy Crockett. It existed at
They,
one point.
there you go. Small. All you need, and yeah, you don't need to wipe out a city. You just clear out the battlefield with one round.
Yeah, back in the 1960s, no, 50s, 60s, and 70s, it went insane. Like they were mounting nukes to freaking Jeeps. They had nuclear landmines and freaking artillery that shot nuclear warheads.
Yeah, like the shit you'd see in Resident Evil with like her nuclear hand grenades.
Yeah, stuff, just crazy stuff. Like the whole Cold War period is just such a fascinating read when you want to learn about weaponry.
Yeah, and geez, look at the technology that came out of the Cold War, though. It's nuts.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, as much as people want to say hey, they hate the military, you love your GPS, don't you? You love your cell phone, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, where do you think all of this stuff came from? I mean, how long was the United States Navy using global positioning satellites before it became available to civilians?
I would say 20 years.
Yeah, probably 20 years, because I'm pretty sure that's when your copyrights and your patent expire, right?
Yeah.
15 years, yeah.
Okay. So once they couldn't keep it secret anymore, everyone's like, let's. And then, of course, the civilians got involved and they were trying to make money off it instead of, and they were making money by selling it versus having the government pay them to build it. So they made it cheaper and better and faster.
Yeah.
Just like the difference between SpaceX and Boeing. Elon Musk actually wants to do this and make it a thing. Boeing's trying to make money. And I get it.
Oh, have you seen one of his recent interviews?
I've seen a lot of Elon Musk interviews. Which one are you talking about?
Pretty sure he mentioned it in a few of his interviews, but the fact that he made it more pointy because of the movie The Dictator.
Okay. I did not see that. I still think it's nuts that they managed to catch a fucking rocket
Oh yeah,
landing
that
bird. Oh my
That's
God.
insane.
It was the craziest thing I've seen in my entire life, and people don't understand what went into that, you know?
no, but he caught a rocket before it actually crashed down into the ocean. Like
Well,
seriously.
that's the thing is, for how long have we been just detaching hunks of the rocket and dropping them in the ocean? He's like, what the hell are we gonna do with it? And he's like, oh, we'll
It's a
bring it back
space
and
shuttle program.
yeah, and Elon Musk, why don't we bring it back and refuel it? And you're like, what?
Yeah. Let's not waste it. Seriously.
Yeah. Apparently, him and one other dude thought it was even possible. Everyone else was like, you're out of your minds. And then they did it.
Well, he was doing an interview with Joe Rogan recently, and he flat out said he's got plane designs that he wants to test out.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. As much as people hate the guy because he supports Trump, the man's a fucking genius.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's
And
for sure.
he made me a sweet penny on Twitter. Oh no, for real. When this went down and he offered to buy it for more than it was worth, I was like, they have to. They don't have an option. They have fiduciary duty to their stockholders, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, and I went and dropped thousands of dollars in Twitter immediately. I was like, I know this is going to take a while. It's going to go be a big pain in the balls. So I was like, but they're going to have to sell it to him. And I ended up making like $33 or something like that per share. I ended up walking away with like $23,000 or something like that.
Oh geez.
Yeah, I was like, that was totally worth it. And of course, I claimed that on my taxes. All right. Anyway, over here in West Virginia, Brian, we were just talking about how West Virginians are the third most expensive place to go grocery shopping.
Yep.
And granted, it's less than a lot of other places, but percentage of income, it's a lot, 16%. Apparently, West Virginians are paying the most for utility bills too, which
Nice.
seems nuts considering it's a coal mining state.
Coal mining's on its way out.
Yeah, it really is. And actually, they're building a battery facility out here that was greenlit in 22 and is finally like ready to get going. And they're hoping to displace some of these unemployed coal miners. Like they're hoping these coal miners will get jobs in these battery factories for lithium ion batteries.
They're not learning how to tech the code.
Okay.
You got to learn how to code. Oh, that's apparently racist or something. I don't know. Uh, and I don't know how much you actually listen to the show, Claire. Probably literally zero, and that's fine with me,
I
honestly.
listen to it sometimes, but
All right. Well, we have a new category called Massachusetts News because they keep showing up. And of course, as soon as we added something in here for it, I'm finding less and less fun stuff coming from Massachusetts. But apparently, the entire western part of Massachusetts is on fire right now, in the woods, brush fires.
doesn't surprise me. Here's why it doesn't surprise me is Massachusetts is a very blue state, and blue states do
Very.
not handle the main maintenance of their forests, their parks, their freaking they just let it go and say, well, it's all natural. It's like, but you guys aren't removing the brush. It's
So
going to cause that all natural to burn down.
exactly, fire's all natural too.
Yeah.
Well, it's
It's
this. It's
like
You
it's like
remind me of the
people
argument when people talk about breastfeeding in public. Like it's natural. I'm like, so isn't pooping. I'm like, well, it's not the same thing. I'm like, no, they're obviously not the same thing. But using the argument, it's natural doesn't make it something you
yeah.
do in front of people. I need something better than
Right.
it's natural, you
Well, I
know?
mean, it's kind of like when I was picking out, I'm trying to get back into shape. So I was picking out a protein powder, and one of them said, it's all natural. I looked at Evelyn and said, so is arsenic.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so is it cyanide, so is it cobalt. And realistically, what's not natural? Are we referring to anything synthetic as not natural?
Plastics.
Yeah, but man had to make that plastic, right?
Yeah.
Are men not natural? Or are we considering ourselves above and outside of the natural sphere?
No, we're
Almost
not
as
on the
if we were
orange
some
blue
kind of chosen,
morality.
huh?
I said we're not on orange blue morality yet.
Well, I mean, the Christian church says man is above nature. This
Mm.
was created for us. So,
I
I
would
mean,
say that the whole thing is we are still part of the natural order of things. I mean, mind you, we have a higher level of morality than say an animal, but at the same point is uh, we don't have the
self-reflection.
yeah.
Uh, have you ever heard stoned ape theory?
No.
It's a fascinating idea. Our early ancestors ate a bunch of psychedelic mushrooms and gained higher level of thought, like self-reflection and morality. And that's what caused the great change in the mind of the human, and made our evolution change was inward thought.
I suppose that's a better way of looking at it than Neil deGrasse Tyson said.
What he said.
We're the only species that sleeps on our back.
That's not true at all. Both my dogs sleep on their back.
He was talking about like we're comfortable sleeping on our backs. That certain dogs do that, but we do it naturally. And so,
I
what
sleep on
was
my
the point?
side,
What was the evolutionary point of sleeping on your back? It's to stare up at the stars.
and that puts you above nature and better.
No, it's the thing that it insinuates is the contemplation, the curiosity of looking up at the night sky. We're the only animal that does that.
Uh, uh, mm, no, there's some animals that aren't there some animals that use the sky to migrate.
Maybe, that's more of a built-in organ
I know
that
you're talking about the north-south thing, but I could have sworn there were critters that looked at the night sky and when it changed so much, they knew it was time to migrate or something like that.
No,
Maybe,
maybe,
maybe I'm thinking of an early human civilization.
maybe, but I mean, the thought it's the thought process that goes behind it.
Oh yeah, we'll never know unless one of these religions is actually accurate and there actually is a true deity. We will never know what it is that
Oh
made
yeah.
any of this happen the way it is.
Oh, trust me, I'm gonna have if any one religion is right, I'm gonna bug the crap out of somebody because I'm gonna be asking so many questions.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's why I'm the Catholic that bothers a lot of Catholics because I obey all of the rules and I do everything as best I can and stay within the way you're supposed to play the game. But I disagree with a lot of the interpretation a lot of the other Catholics have,
Yeah.
and they don't like it. Well, like the 6 days of creation.
Well, I mean, nobody liked Galileo.
True, crazy bastard said the Earth was round. It's like obviously it's not. Look in front of you. All right, all right. Ooh, did you hear Joe Biden call Trump supporters garbage?
Yes, and I love Trump's reaction to this. This was so priceless.
It was great, but I first just want to say, did you see what the White House did and the Democrat media did to try to make this look like Biden didn't call them garbage?
Yeah, they edited the stuff, everything that he was saying. They edited it out afterwards. I mean, they even went as far as to change the transcripts that will go into was it the Library of Congress after he's out of office?
Yes, but not just that. They put in an apostrophe after the S in supporters, Trump supporters, apostrophe garbage, which would make it possessive instead of plural, which would change the meaning from the garbage that they have versus they are garbage. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of work that apostrophe is doing right there. Especially since it was 4 seconds after calling him garbage that he went, oh crap, and started trying to correct it already.
Yeah, but I mean, this is coming from the same freaking group of people that tried to cover up true and honest Shabbat pressure.
That's where I was going. This guy has no command of the English language, let alone where to put the apostrophe. You know what I mean?
Honestly, the man hasn't had a grasp of the English language since he described defending his home as a felony.
No, he was actually doing well with English at the time. He just said stupid things.
Yeah,
When he said fire your shotgun in the sky,
yeah, uh,
I just remember the guy was like, "Don't do that. You will go to jail."
yeah.
It was funny
Well,
because my sister at the time, well, she's still my sister, but at the time, my sister says to me, "Well, what difference does it make? You'll scare him off." I was like, "Yeah, where does that buckshot land?"
yeah.
And she looked at me, she said, "What?" I was like, "What goes up must come down. You just fired 12 9 millimeter ball bearings into the sky,
The
approaching the speed of
only,
sound."
yeah, the only exception to the what comes down is if it's moving fast enough.
Oh yeah. Oh, like when the U.S. detonated that nuclear
Bomb and through
bomb
the manhole
underground,
cover.
the manhole covers in orbit.
It was the fastest thing ever recorded in human history. The fastest thing ever recorded. Somewhere upwards of 125,000 miles an hour.
Yeah,
That's
as close as we've ever come to light speed.
yes.
And anyone, okay, for everyone out there who's not familiar with this story, the United States in the 50s loved to blow up nuclear bombs and see what they did
I'll be right
and how
back.
they worked and where, all this stuff and where you set them up, what they would do. Uh, they built this sealed chamber deep underground and wanted to set up a nuke underground and see what would happen. But the thing is, they had like a manhole cover at the top, so like the people get in and out, and the blast concentrated all of its force on this one manhole cover that was what a mile or two above the actual detonation. And the thing just poof takes off. It's gone. It's out of actually, I'm pretty sure it's out of Earth's orbit, right, Claire? All right. Apparently, I'm here alone because Brian is asleep. All right. Well, he called these guys garbage. The White House, like I said, tried to change the transcript, even though the stenographers were like, "That's a really bad idea." Even Caitlin Collins, I believe she's MSNBC, maybe CNN, was saying how that's kind of ridiculous. You guys are really reaching trying to protect this guy. Hey, Brian.
Yeah,
Hey, we're moving on to the View here.
right.
Well, I've done my best to keep the View
Oh.
off of the show for a while because it was driving me so nuts. But it's hard to avoid him, isn't it?
It's
Well, apparently Whoopi was making fun of the Republicans for quote clutching their pearls over Biden's garbage comment. They're still clutching their pearls over the Puerto Rico joke thing, and that's what brought out the garbage thing.
Yeah,
This is
that's
oh, God.
Jon Stewart even said that this is just complete bull.
Oh,
Like,
I left my ass up. John was like, I thought it was pretty funny.
yeah, right. Jon Stewart was trying not to laugh when he was reading out like the transcript of what the dude said. It was like,
See, I wish I
yeah,
had thought of that one.
yeah, right.
Well, we brought up on this show when it happened, how Puerto Rico has a landfill issue. They have nothing to do with all their trash. And then two giant hurricanes came ripping through. So like, the place is actually covered in garbage right now.
Yeah, I mean, the funniest jokes are often based on some sort of truth.
Oh yeah, otherwise it's just mean. I mean,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that's the problem is these guys don't appreciate humor, let alone dark humor.
Well, it goes back to that phrase, is what sound does a tyrant hate the most?
What laughter?
Yep.
Hmm. I believe that because that means someone's making fun of the tyrant.
Well, no, that's what the tyrant thinks, but they can't control laughter.
Exactly. No, but they can control your speech, can't they?
No, they can try.
Well, they certainly are. Uh, but yeah, even Bill Maher, as much we've been talking about Bill Maher a lot on this show because he's every now and then he like pulls his head out of his ass and looks around and is like, hey, well, hold on, this doesn't make any sense.
He's been trying to improve lately. I think he actually, actually sat down and read a newspaper one day.
Yeah, or watch the actual video of what Trump said versus what someone else said he said.
Yeah.
Uh, but he said that this garbage comment was a bigger gaffe than people think. Like basically deplorables times 10. Uh,
Yeah.
it's just tough to do this whole unity thing. It's like you're calling half the country garbage or deplorable, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this has been the MO of the left for quite a while. Is we're all about unity, we're all about love and free will. I freaking hate you. I'm gonna burn your stuff to the ground.
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's actually something that's a good point. Was I know a whole bunch of people that vote Democrat
mm-hmm.
that have cut off family members that vote Republican. Like, won't even speak to them anymore. I don't know a single person who votes Republican that won't speak to their own family because of political views.
Yeah, that's actually pretty common.
That just seems nuts to me. Like, you would never speak to your father again because he votes different than you. You know what I mean? It's like that just seems nuts. Because
Well,
trust me,
it's
when
the
that
whole
dude's gone, you're gonna feel bad.
well, it's the hypocrisy of the left. Is the one thing I cannot tolerate is intolerance.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember my fourth grade teacher had a sign on the wall that said intolerance will not be tolerated. To this day, that still hurts my head when I think about it.
Yeah,
Like to be intolerant of the intolerant makes you intolerant, therefore you cannot be tolerated.
yeah. It the circular logic is actually a common theme I've noticed, even among their
Well,
scholars.
the circular logic comes right back to the what is a woman argument that we keep hearing. And people say anyone who identifies as a woman. Okay, but you're not allowed to use a word to define itself.
No, and I'm of the mind that there actually needs to be barriers of entry when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Okay. Can you
Like,
please expand?
um, okay. So when you're trans, there needs to be barrier to entry to say you're trans. Like, what is a woman? Okay, cis female, X X XX chromosomes, so to speak. Then there's
Well,
trans women.
I would personally say it's an adult human female
Yeah,
because that woman
I'm not
implies
even gonna.
adult.
Yeah, but I'm not even gonna freaking try to, like, I try to get very specific when it comes to this thing, so people don't have room to argue.
No. I always appreciate a good steel man. Like that's why I hate Ben Shapiro so good. It's he steel mans his arguments to the point you're like, I want to say he's wrong, but I cannot prove it. You know?
uh, and this is coming from the trans person, and it's like these people are like, "Well, I'm trans." It's like, okay, are you on hormones? No. Are you seeking therapy? No. Why do you say you're trans? Well, because I feel like it. No, you're just crazy.
Yeah. That's actually not exactly on that line, but it reminded me of a lot of this, like especially when it comes to children, when they want to transition these kids. You're like,
No.
that kid doesn't understand what's going on yet.
No,
And
the kid doesn't have a level of understanding of permanence yet. Therefore, leave the kid alone.
kids on but like you wouldn't give an anorexic 14-year-old a
Diuretics.
belly band
Yeah.
because she identifies as overweight.
No, you
You
wouldn't.
know, because that would kill that person. Um, I think once you're a grown adult and you've made decisions and like especially speaking to a therapist, like to actually make sure that it's not just some kind of weird identity crisis. You can do what you want with your body. Just these kids, man, like you don't let them get a tattoo, you don't let them you don't let them buy cigarettes, you don't let them buy beer, but you're gonna let the kid completely change their body and sterilize themselves.
Yeah, I think okay, another thing that's really weird is here in Georgia now they moved the smoking age to 21. It's like, really, you can die for your country, but you can't buy a
That's
pack of
nationwide.
cigarettes and a drink?
That's nationwide.
It's still ridiculous. You can't
It
buy a
is
pack of
ridiculous, but
cigarettes.
yeah, that it's the same way alcohol became 21 though. It wasn't the states all agreeing or the federal government saying this is the rule. It was the federal government offered to give money to states to move it to 21, just like alcohol is 21 because states accept funding from the federal government.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
bullshit.
well, actually, I brought that up to the wife the other day, and I was like, "What do you think?" West Virginia has a oddly shaped border. There's a lot of like uh, counties the next state over, a lot of square mileage. People may come across the border to West Virginia if West Virginia dropped their drinking age to 18. I was like, I wonder how much money would come in to West Virginia that way, and if it could offset the federal funding, so you're not in the government's pocket.
Companies that have produced firearms have actually been able to pay for moving out of blue states
Yeah,
because they
Smith
moved
and
to red
Wesson.
states.
Yeah, Smith and Wesson just left Massachusetts.
Well, good for them. It was about time.
Yeah, which is too bad because What happened to Boston, dude? The city used to have the biggest fucking balls on the planet, and you know it. Well, come on, look at all the crazy shit they did to
Oh,
tell the
no.
English to fuck themselves, and
And
then
have you
they fought
ever
a war
read
against the
up
most
on the
organized military on the history of the planet, and a bunch of farmers are like, yeah, fuck you too.
Well, I mean, have you ever read up on the state hero of Massachusetts?
Which one, Webster?
And I'm not sure if it was Webster, but it was this old dude that during the Revolutionary War was like 70 years old, was some
Oh, he killed
100.
like 300 English guys and still didn't die.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't 300, but it was like he
Yo,
killed quite a few, still didn't die. And then he had all 100 of his descendants show up, like, please save him. And he lived for another 30 years. It was like,
yeah, maybe he was shot 300 times or something like that. But
yeah,
the entire army of the Great Britain shot at him at the same time, and he's like, "Eh, fuck you, get off my property."
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I saw that on the Fat Electrician.
yep, yeah. Samuel Whitmore.
Nah, yeah, yeah, exactly. He lived to be like 100 years old. He's like, fuck you.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
you
what
guys go
happened, dude? Like,
from that to, now what do you guys like? You're crying over spilt milk.
oh, Massachusetts keeps getting in trouble with the Supreme Court concerning their gun laws. Um, they're having a serious migrant issue that's out of control to the point where they kick the veterans out of the shelters to house illegal migrants.
Jesus.
Um, High school students were forced to find a different way to get to school because there were so many migrant children that had been shipped to Massachusetts that needed the school buses to get to the school. Um, Massachusetts, I'll give them credit. At least they carried through with their amnesty state thing, whatever you want to call it, sanctuary state.
Mm-hmm.
And no, we're going to help all these people. But now the people that live there looking around going, why are they all getting the stuff that I paid for and we've been living with for decades? You know, like my kid doesn't get picked up by the school bus, but Pablo does. And I'm paying for Pablo's education. Whereas the migrant family just moved here obviously doesn't have a job yet, you know, and it's pissing a lot of folks up there off.
Well,
It's making me laugh because they're like, well, then stop voting the way you're voting.
no, they don't see it as a problem though.
No,
The
they do
voting.
see this problem. They don't connect the two. That's the problem. That's why I got the hell out of Massachusetts, dude.
Yeah. Well, kind of why I got out of Illinois.
Yeah, yeah. They had no idea what's going on around them. They thought they were better than everyone else. And then the problem comes to their front door because they never saw the migrant issue with the southern border coming to their door. Like, oh yeah, I'll never get here. And now it is. And they're trying to say that all these people coming here and displacing the population, taking jobs, taking school bus spots, et cetera, has nothing to do with the way they voted. I'm like, yes, literally opened the floodgates. Biden said surge the border, you know?
Yeah. Or they'll blame it on Trump or something stupid like
Well,
that.
they've already tried several times to blame it on Trump. It's like, first thing you guys did was undo all of Trump's migration policies. And then also you need an act of Congress to do it that you couldn't get. And you blame Trump for that. And now Harris is talking about building the wall.
So she's finally going based to
Oh,
win votes.
oh my God. All right. Anyway, back to the garbage stuff. Mark Preston on CNN uh, at least realized that there's no way Joe's getting out from underneath this. He called all these guys garbage. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
his best bet now is just go with it and embrace it. But yeah, do the whole yeah. Well, I mean, if this is how you see the world, then you are garbage people, you know. Uh, and Harris is trying to send. Here's the thing: is the White House is trying to say that's not what Joe said. Harris is like, I have nothing to do with that asshole just said. He's like, that was ridiculous. But what did Trump do in response to all these garbage men? Claire.
There's not much Trump can do in this situation.
Well, what did he do in
Oh,
Wisconsin?
she freaking showed up in a garbage truck.
And then gave his entire uh, speech, whatever you call it. What do they call these events? Rallies, I guess.
Yeah.
Did the whole thing wearing his high visibility reflective vest.
What's that?
No, I love it, dude. I'm loving it. The McDonald's thing here. Uh, Trump is a fucking living meme.
Oh yeah, he's freaking a meme lord now. I mean, seriously.
I think it's Barron.
What
You know,
about
you
Barron?
know, I think Barron's the one who's plugged in and gets this stuff. I bet you it was Barron Trump goes, you got to show up in a garbage truck after they called all these people garbage. It's like, you have to do it and paint it with a giant like MAGA or Trump on the side of it. And
Oh.
Donald's like, sure, let's give it a try. So that sounded more like JFK, didn't it?
Yeah, that really did sound like JFK.
I meant to go nasally, not throaty. My mistake. But yeah, I really think it's Barron who's like plugged in and gets the jokes, gets the humor, gets the fortune. I bet Barron Trump would laugh. And he's in college now, right?
Yeah.
I bet he would laugh at the jokes about dark humor. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, let's be real here, Claire. Dark humor is kind of like food.
not everyone gets it.
Yeah, not everyone gets it. But the people who do get it, it's more like childhood cancer.
It
It
never gets
never gets
old.
old. And it's, I remember the first time I told you that one, I swear I heard you pee your pants. You're like,
I
no way did you
will.
just say that.
I will always remember my necrophilia joke. First time I told you that one, you groan laughed on that one.
Uh, all right. Uh, but yeah, he shows up with a garbage truck. And I was like, that's fucking epic, dude.
Do
Like,
you think Elon Musk is giving him uh, tips on how to meme and troll people?
maybe, but I genuinely think it's Barron Trump. I think he's the cool
Oh,
kid.
I think he's got a whole freaking group of people on standby that he just walks in and goes, "All right, how can we spin this?"
And no, that's the thing is just embrace it. Just,
Yeah.
but this is what you're gonna call us. Fine. You know what? Garbage men work in this country, and they deserve a fair share too. You know what I mean? Just I love it. Uh,
It's
He's all
brilliant.
about the billionaires, and it's Mark Cuban saying how Donald Trump's about the billionaires, and meanwhile Donald Trump's working at McDonald's and in a garbage truck. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, but I mean, seriously, Donald Trump at this point in time has more experience at McDonald's than Kamala does.
yeah, the guy's a fucking riot, man. I wish he had done this a decade earlier.
Right.
Oh, this is I said he's hilarious. I don't care about a
This
lot
is,
of stuff people say. He's funny even if you don't like the guy.
I'm just afraid for what it means in our future. Like, seriously, once he sets a precedent, we're going to end up with Camacho eventually.
Why are you pouring Gatorade on the ground? It's got electrolytes. It's good for the crops. You didn't think I was going to get that reference, did you?
Oh, I knew there was a good chance you might get that reference, but at the same point, it's still.
That was one of Terry Crews's funniest roles, and Terry
Oh, I
Crews is a
know.
funny guy.
Yeah. That that
He's,
that that is Mike Judge, my favorite piece of Mike Judge, his
that
work.
was Mike Judge,
Yes.
really. Beavis and Butthead.
Yes.
Huh, I didn't realize it was the same guy.
Yeah. He did King of the
Uh,
Hill, Beavis and Butthead, and Idiocracy.
yes, King of the Hill. There's a new King of the Hill coming out.
Oh no.
Bobby's grown up.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually going to watch it. It should be coming out fairly soon. But I've been following Matt Groening lately. Um, Disenchanted, and Futurama in particular.
Okay. I have not watched Disenchanted, but I am a fan of Futurama.
Well, Futurama, I believe, just ended again, didn't it? Or are they doing another season?
I do not know.
Mhm.
Like I said, I do not watch it regularly, but I do watch it from time to time.
Yeah, I Disenchanted was very fun. But this is why we got to do this culture war show we were talking about. And what sucks
Yeah.
is the name of the show we were going to use got gobbled up by Tim Pool.
Oh God. Yeah.
He now owns Culture War.
God. That dude.
Uh, hmm?
That dude.
What about him?
I don't know. He's just honestly, you could play a drinking game to that man every time he mentions Civil War at this point in time.
He's okay. First of all, he's made that joke several times himself.
Yeah.
Um, but all he ever does is read someone else's article, like when the New York Times is talking about a civil war.
Yeah. I get
Same
that.
way
I
Trump
just
keeps getting in trouble. Every time Trump brings something up, it's like, did you see this thing in the newspaper last night? What's going on in Switzerland or Sweden or wherever it was? Like, there's nothing going on. He's like, I don't know. I read the paper. This is,
yeah.
or he read about
I
the cats and the dogs being eaten.
yeah. But like I'm saying though, is I used to follow him back quite a few years ago when he was a little bit more tepid
Still out,
and
still out on the road doing stuff in person.
some of that stuff, but I'm talking like when he started to settle down and stuff, he was still living in like New Jersey and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was still a little bit more tepid and stuff, and I kind of miss that.
No, I get that because he still calls himself the milquetoast fence sitter. I'm like, dude, you are heavily campaigning for Trump, saying everyone needs to go vote. He needs to win the popular vote too. I'm like, yeah. I know his argument is that the Overton window moved so far left, but yeah,
It's moved so far left, but at the same time, he's kind of he's one of those people that has stared into the abyss for so long that he's radicalized himself.
well, that's an interesting way to put it. It's funny. You reminded me of something. I used to go out on the fantail at sea
Hmm.
and stare off into the horizon for 20, 30 minutes at a time.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Oh, I loved it. There was something grounding about it, especially at sunset. From what I
Oh, it
understand,
makes you
this is
feel
actually called
small.
sun gazing or something like that.
Yeah, it makes you feel small when you do that.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's humbling that I liked. But I used to do this, and I remember once when I was on the Villa Gulf and I was HT2, um, I was a fire marshal, but the DCA came up, which was my division officer. I don't know how well
Hmm.
you know repair division. DCA, damage control assistant, for anyone out there who doesn't know. Basically, he's next in charge to the captain for most emergencies, and in some situations takes over command of the ship. But yeah, he sees me staring out at the horizon, and apparently he watched me for like 3 minutes, and then came over and like grabbed both my shoulders and gave me a shake. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" He's like, "I don't know, man. You had that 1,000 mile stare, like you were about to hop in the prop wash." And I was like, "Oh, fuck no! What a mess that would make." Could you imagine getting ripped apart by propellers from a Navy ship?
You would say ow maybe once.
Oh, maybe once. Um, and the mess it would make. Oh, good
Oh yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like the physics of that alone means you're going to be a red mist in the water. I mean,
yeah, exactly. All you do is attract sharks, and there's gonna be nothing to eat.
it's instant chum recipes.
Oh, but but yeah, I don't know, I found something grounding about doing that, and it helped me compartmentalize better and not deal with all the garbage from being at sea for 8 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were on that cruise with me. No, you were on the Carl Vincent
The-
with me, right?
yes, I was on the Vincent.
Yeah, that was the carrier where I went deaf.
That was a carrier where you also got a part of your brain cut out.
Yeah, that's where I had my first seizure.
Yeah, because
Uh,
we were becoming friends, and then freaking you got moved off the ship. I didn't see
apparently,
you for about like
apparently, word
6 months.
spread fast about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad day, dude. Last thing I remember doing was coming back from finishing a job in dry dock, right?
Yeah.
I remember coming back from doing a job with welding. Sat down on a bridge chair, um, like not the game, but like from the actual bridge of the ship.
Yeah.
We were, dry dock doing an RCOH reconstruction overhaul, and we took the captain's seat and brought it down to our shop. Well, to replace it, like obviously we're gonna have one too now, right? So we installed it, like welded brackets on the deck and actually bolted this thing in place. I was like, nice. Leave it to repair division to be able to figure out how to do this shit, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I remember sitting down in this chair, like, whew, that job sucked. And then I woke up and being hauled across the next thing I remember anyway, I was being hauled across the hangar bay through a flight elevator, an aircraft elevator, to go down onto the pier. And I was like, "What happened?" He's like, "For the fifth time, you've had a seizure." And I was like, "I puked on myself." He goes, "Yeah, that's kind of common." Like, I pissed myself. He goes, "Yep, that's common too." He goes, "Just be glad you didn't shit yourself because that's common too."
Jesus.
And then that's the first thing I remember after my first seizure. And I was like, "Oh, okay." But apparently after, like when I was up moving around, because I was moving around for like 30 minutes before I remember anything. They asked me a bunch of questions, and they asked me my name. I was like, "Yeah, I know my name." I'm like, "What's your name?" Like, "Hot sauce." And they're like, "Oh, this is not a good thing at all." And I'm so glad I got off that ship and didn't go back to it after, because I would have been hot sauce forever.
Jesus.
Well, if you had heard that name and I came back to the ship, that's what you would have called me, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but then I went off to what TPU,
It was the
uh
not the FAF. It was
no, the transient personnel unit.
yeah.
Worked over at the hobby shop for a while, actually for like a year, which sucked. Anyway, I made HT2 over there, then went to another ship and did another ridiculous deployment that took way longer than they said it would.
But that's kind of common
Uh,
with the Navy. Hey,
yeah.
go out for 6 months. Hey, look, you're gonna do 9.
Well, it's funny. We were talking about this recently, how I was actually watching one of the Tim Pool live things at night,
Yeah.
and someone apparently was in the middle of the ocean on their first deployment. Uh, I don't I don't know what internet they're using, but apparently, it was well enough to watch this thing, which I couldn't do when I was enlisted. Not watch something live like that. Said how they got surf and turf for dinner, and he said like a quarter of the crew was all excited and and everyone else just had this look on their face. He's like, and I don't understand what it is. And I laughed my ass off because every comment after that was like, "You're getting extended.
Yeah.
You're going to a combat zone. You're getting steak and lobster. Sucks to be you, buddy."
Yep. Oh, you get a beer day? Okay, who's gonna die?
Well, beer day is because you've been at sea for 90 days without port visit.
Oh, I know, but it just, jeez.
Yeah, and I sold my beer tickets.
Oh yeah.
You always had someone who just couldn't handle themselves, and they would pay you $20 for a beer ticket. You're like, yeah, sure, you can have them both. Two beers ain't gonna be worth my effort anyway.
Yeah.
Uh, oh man, I remember my beer day. That was with our Steel Beach picnic, wasn't it?
Yep.
Mm.
Anyone who doesn't understand what that means, though, 90 days at sea without hitting port. Brian, are you still with us?
Yep.
Have you ever done 90 days straight at sea without port visit?
Yep.
Yeah, that's 3 months. Um, that will fuck with you, won't it?
Oh yeah.
Like, no matter
Even the
how close
ugly
it.
ones start to look gorgeous.
Yeah, trust me, I know all about that. What we call them, sea goggles, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and the Marine Corps calls them 410 fours. They're fours at home. They're tens in the combat zone. They're fours when they get back home again. Uh, and for anyone who goes, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?" Not a whole lot of women to choose from. So anything with the right parts starts looking real attractive no matter what, right?
Yep.
Oh man. Anyway, you s- tell me about Liz Cheney. What's this whole thing going on, Brian?
She's an idiot.
What?
She's campaigning against Trump.
Yeah, okay, well, did you hear this firing squad thing?
Yep.
Okay then.
What was
Uh
going on with this firing squad thing?
Oh, Trump
well,
came out and said that Kamala should face it.
no. He said perhaps if we gave Liz Cheney a rifle and there were 9 more pointed back at her, she wouldn't be so ready to send our young men to go die in war. But apparently the news immediately spun that around saying she should face a firing squad for execution.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And at least this one dude on CNN came out after he watched the video because he responded and argued someone about it without actually having seen it. He just heard someone else say it. He came out and was like, "Yeah, I was wrong. I found out what was actually said." Uh, And it's just Bill Maher even was like, "Oh, what the hell are you guys talking about?" It's like you're just giving him fodder. Like obvious lying like that, you're not helping your cause. And their argument is Trump says enough terrible things to use the real terrible stuff. I'm like, problem is there's always someone saying the same thing, no matter what he's being accused of. Uh, oh, and apparently the attorney general in Arizona is so upset about Trump's remarks. They're quote deeply troubling that she's going to investigate Trump over a possible death threat
That's
by
not a
saying
death threat.
maybe if you were the one going to war, you would think differently. And
It's not a death threat. How can people think that the moment you step fart out of line with some of these people, they freaking try to bring up charges on you?
well, that's the thing is they keep saying how Trump's going to weaponize the legal system. Like you're trying to bring up
They've
our charges
already
for,
weaponized the legal system.
yeah. I mean, you're trying to find a way to prosecute him. That is the definition of weaponizing the legal system.
Well, as it sits, the stuff in New York doesn't look like it's gonna. No, it looks like it's gonna get repealed,
Oh God, the way that
overturned.
yeah, those judges are like, have you ever charged anyone else with this? How come there's no aggrieved party? Is this normal? Like,
Yeah,
oh, please don't take our license to practice law.
yeah. The Georgia cases are dead.
Yeah. Oh well, what's her name there? Fonnie Willis.
Yeah, Fannie Willis, like by far one of the most corrupt people I've ever heard of.
Oh,
And
she
I
keeps
lived in
showing up for
Illinois.
different, and she keeps showing up in different stuff that's not related to the Trump RICO case.
Yeah, like
It's like, oh man, you found the dirtiest people who did not mind breaking, not just bending, but flat out breaking the law to do this stuff.
well, yeah. I mean, and wasn't one person like in the New York case actually didn't they used to work for the DOJ?
Yeah, he actually resigned his position from the DOJ to take on the position as Attorney General, whatever it is, of this of New York or the DA of New York City or whatever, like that giant pay cut and demotion to be able to prosecute Trump
Yeah.
on a case that was out of the statute of limitations and a misdemeanor, but decided to try it
And then they
late,
extended the statute
illegally
of
late as a felony.
yeah, then they decided to extend the statute of limitations. And they didn't even go after Cuomo when that happened too.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, they did something else to get Trump. They gave him like a 1 year window to bring up like the sex charges. That was the
Hmm.
whole Diddy's getting nailed with that because that window is still open to bring up old charges. And he's getting hit with a bunch of them in New York over this. I think it's hilarious because whenever the Democrats do something to try to kick the Republicans in the balls, it always gets them back. Uh, prime example was changing it from a two-thirds vote to a simple majority vote to install a Supreme Court justice when they tried to get, yeah, when Obama tried to get, what's his name? Merrick Garland on the court.
Yep.
Merrick Garland still didn't get the job, but because they changed the rules, Trump got three justices in place. It's they got to stop trying instead of trying to hobble your enemy, your opponent. Why don't you run faster? You know?
Because I got too many fat bitches. I'm sorry, that was mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, if I go into like a coffee shop, right, and the person making my coffee has like blue hair and their septum pierced and some tattooed on their collarbone or neck that says something like love or peace or fuck the man, they all mean the same thing.
Yeah.
I know that motherfucker is making an excellent coffee. And you know it's true, man.
Yeah,
The
just don't
pissed
be
off.
Jewish around them.
Well, oh my God. Don't be Greek, apparently. You see that shit?
Yeah, I did.
I laughed my balls off at that. And she wouldn't have gotten in trouble
If
had she
she
not
didn't
posted it.
posted it. Yeah.
The cops had no idea. Like, oh, it was her. She's like, oh, my bad. I ripped apart this Greek restaurant because I hate the Jews. And like, that's not an Israeli flag. Oops.
Yeah. And then what the dumbest part about this is you're an idiot. You get told you're an idiot and you still post it.
Right? And then go to jail for it. It's like, I hope the clicks were worth it, you know? Uh, oh my God. All right. Did you see? I think it's almost like I set this shit up on purpose because we were just talking about how the Jewish folks,
Yeah.
these mail ballot boxes that were burned in Washington and Oregon. I'm sure you heard about this.
Yeah, I heard about this one. This is just stupid.
Well, incendiary devices. Apparently, when the analysis was done, these things had free Gaza and free Palestine emblazoned upon the incendiary device.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, gives you an idea who dropped these.
Yeah. Yeah. No idea who dropped these. And I am holding my fucking tongue because I'm about ready to go off on a fucking tangent.
Well, what about how much you hate the Jews?
No. No. It is stupid people.
Oh, there's a lot of them, dude. Like, oh, let me do a
Okay. No.
George
No. 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 No.
Carlin
No.
quote for
No.
you.
No.
Think of how dumb the average person is, right?
Yeah.
Now realize that half of them are dumber than that.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's George Carlin right there for you. That's quality.
Yeah, it's a terrifying thought. And then these people that
It
are like,
really is.
these people that keep going free Gaza. It's like you do realize that the Gazan people freely voted for the people that attacked Israel to be fucking in charge, correct?
I love the Queers for Palestine group.
Oh, these people are even more stupid.
I'm like, you do realize it's a crime what you're doing over there, right?
Yeah, you do realize that gay people in Gaza have to flee to Israel.
And not Egypt, because Egypt won't take them.
No, no, Egypt won't take anyone. And here's the problem is people have tried to do, hey, let's bring some of the people from Palestine and Gaza into our country. We'll set up refugee camps. And then these people get a sudden spike in terrorism. Gee, I wonder why nobody's going to help them across the world.
Yeah, I mean, look, the October 7th attacks in Israel were just so egregious.
Yeah, but that was just Gaza by itself.
Oh, it was Hezbollah.
Yeah, which that is the government of Gaza.
Well, it depends on what you consider Gaza, because apparently Hezbollah is involved in the Lebanese government too.
Okay. Hezbollah has some roots in Gaza, if I believe correctly. Actually, let me do a fact check on
I thought
myself.
Gaza just referred to the entire peninsula.
Uh, the whole problem is the government is the people freely vote for.
Yeah, they're voting for literal terrorists, and they flew over a fence to kill a whole bunch of innocent people at a musical festival. And I keep hearing how they want to do a hostage exchange. I'm like, there's no hostages left. You know they were killed like 2 days later, right? You're looking for something,
Yeah,
aren't you?
yeah. It's sorry, Hamas is the ones that run freaking Gaza, I believe. Yeah, it's Hamas.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah. Okay. Hamas
and
started the
Hamas was the
attack.
one.
Hezbollah has joined in.
Yeah, so you have Yeah, so okay, let's go back to this though. Is the people freely voted for Hamas to run Gaza? These people are
Yes.
voted into office. This is the exact government that did the October 7th attack last year. These are the people that, and this country voted for this. I'm sorry. Fuck them at this point in time. Let Israel hit them with a sledgehammer. Hopefully, they'll break some knees and cause a concussion hard enough that these people will start acting right. And by acting right, I mean join the 21st century and stop throwing gay and trans people off fucking rooftops.
Okay. That was a lot to digest.
I'm sorry,
Now,
I do not like the people that say, like, oh, queers for Palestine and Hamas. It's like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Palestine, at least they won't throw you off a building. Well, the average person might, not the police. The police will arrest you and put you in jail.
Yeah,
But
it's
there are
still,
plenty of places in that area that will execute you for homosexuality or
yeah.
any of this.
I
Any
think
of
in
this
Hamas,
rainbow
it's like
spectrum.
it's like 3 times, and you're dead.
Um, and like I said, well, these Muslims, a lot of them are far more conservative than the Catholics you see around here in the United States.
Oh yeah, I can have.
You think these Catholics are conservative? I personally, and I know this is going to offend somebody, see homosexuality, trans, all that stuff as a sin. But at the same time, I see me getting tattooed and pierced a sin as well.
Yeah.
Like I am no better than the homosexual or
Here,
the transgender,
well,
and
we're
I am no
conflating
one
the
to
issue
pass
here.
judgment.
We're conflating the issue here. Israel's the big dog in the area, technologically speaking, military might speaking.
Yeah,
And
what happens if the United States cuts off their funding?
I don't know, but just bear with me on this one. And these people in their minds that talk about the free Gaza, the free Palestinian, is we're conflating the ego. We're conflating the whole situation. But what it really is it's an extension of the Marxist DEI stuff that talks about the oppressor versus the oppressee. And they view these people as the oppressed. Therefore, they're somehow good because Israel's oppressing them.
So no, this is what bothers me is that Israel is the only Jewish nation on the planet.
Yeah,
They are surrounded by Muslim nations. And
yeah.
I know someone out there's like, nations don't have religions. Actually, most of them do, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
it's state recognized religion of the majority of the population usually.
Yes. And they usually have a language too. The United States refuses to do any of that because this whole melting pot thing.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool, actually.
but that's why you have to press one for English in most areas.
Well, it depends on where you are and where you're calling, honestly. I mean, there's a
So,
lot of Spanish being spoken in the United States, that's for sure.
oh yeah, but I'm saying though, this is why you have to press, one for this language or whatnot.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, I know.
I would prefer everyone know English, but that's just because that's the language I know best. Um, Funny thing is, most of the world is learning English because that's the language of business.
Yeah, it's the internationally recognized language for trade.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Spanish is the number one spoken first language because talk about the English as much as you want conquering the world. Most of the world speaks Spanish, motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I hope people understand that. Um, but the United States was such an industrial force on the planet that people had to learn the language that the Americans were speaking to be able to do trade with them.
Well, that dates back to World War II because the rest of the world was in absolute chaos and
Yeah,
crumble.
the French needed help, and they only have three guys that speak French. Well, let's
Well, not
teach
only the
20 guys to
French,
speak English.
well, not only the French, but the Soviets' infrastructure was destroyed. The freaking Japanese was destroyed. The Germans were destroyed. The British
Oh
were
yeah, oh
destroyed.
yeah.
Anybody who was doing anything was completely destroyed at this point in time.
Well, that was my. I was just using the French as an example.
Oh yeah, but
A different language, and they need your help. You better learn how to ask for help. If you know
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah,
Uh,
but that's kind of where the whole international trade thing. But it boils down to though, returning to the previous subject is these people they see life through oppressor and oppressee, and if you are the oppressee, you are automatically more virtuous than the oppressor.
See, I don't understand this argument.
It's
Uh,
stupid. It literally is stupid. You have to act like you're an idiot in order to understand it.
why do so many people do it then? Are they actually that dumb, or do they just don't want to be snapped up in the machine?
It's the majority of humans anymore are not taught critical thinking. Like if you are a
Well,
critical thinker, you are automatically smarter than most. But most of what college is anymore is just memorization of random facts because it's
it's
easier to
interesting you
program
say
people
that.
that way.
It's interesting you say that because I've been told that's what history class was in high school. I had to memorize certain dates for
Yeah.
sure. But in general, in high school, I didn't have to memorize the day and year necessarily, as long as I could tell you what happened and why it happened and what that meant for the world rippling outward.
Well, there you go. It's that what that meant for the world rippling outward. That takes a level of critical thinking.
Yeah, and that was way better than remembering July 4th, 1776, or oh Jesus, when
And it
did
goes back
Washington?
to the circular logic, though. I mean, how many times have you seen people in these debate me things where these people end up just doing circular logic, falling back to the same philosophy?
Look, Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
If she
she
doesn't
can't
have an
do three
answer,
hours with Joe Rogan because she freaking literally cannot have a coherent conversation because she's just going to fall back to the same three talking points.
oh, I was born in a middle class family. I had a second mother. I'm like, bitch, you grew up in a nice, affluent suburb in Montreal. Huh. Oh my God.
But
What do you consider middle class? We brought this up on the show before. What do you consider to be middle class?
I think it's about 50K a year and up.
It depends on where you live, how much 50K means though.
Yeah, this is true. Like,
So
okay,
give me, yeah,
I'm
and
not gonna
there we go. Now
reveal
let's think about it, right?
I'm not gonna reveal too much, but me and Evelyn in our area are considered middle class.
All right. By whom?
National standard, no average for like where you live and stuff like that. Because I mean, the middle class, the idea of it is subjective, but generally the whole requirement is you can own a home and comfortably maintain it, while at the
Well,
same point is still maintaining a decent savings.
there you go. Savings. I brought this up
It's wealth
recently, and
generation.
Brian and Guapo disagreed with me when I said that to be considered truly middle class, you have to be able to not get paid for an entire month and still meet all of your obligations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily classify as most middle class people can't afford that now. During the Trump
No,
presidency, I
that
was,
just means I have enough put aside that I can still pay my mortgage and my electricity while I'm not working for a month.
yeah, shit, then I may be middle class by your definition too. Um,
Dude, I have a literal year's worth of food in my cupboard over here
yeah.
because shit happens. I'm on top of a mountain, dude. When the snow comes, I can't get anywhere to get anything. I have a generator that powers my entire house and an 800-gallon propane tank to fuel the thing.
Nice.
Yeah, it
I'm
is
coming to
nice.
visit you. Holy shit.
And I got all this food. I got a deep freeze. Oh God, I got 3 racks of pork ribs, 3 pork tenderloins, some a handful of London broil steaks, some New York top sirloin. We're gonna turn most of that into beef jerky. A couple filet mignons. I have an 80 cubic foot freezer.
Nice.
So just packed with the food because sometimes weather happens and you can't get in town.
Oh yeah, I've lived places even in Pennsylvania that were like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I keep all this food here, and you know what? I come down once or twice a week, look through what's getting even close to expired, and make sure that it gets eaten before it goes bad. Uh, like, oh, I guess we're having steak tonight, so this thing only has a week and a half left, even frozen. That's no good. I'll be honest though, steak don't tend to last that long. My thick and chunky beef stews, and shoot, I got I think 15 boxes of noodles.
Dude, you're making me hungry, and I've been on a diet for the last few months. I hate you right now.
No, like I said though, this is should I not be able to get into town. I have food.
Oh
I
yeah.
can go into a situation where I am cut off from society for months, for actually for an entire year, and still feed my family. Meanwhile, shooting deer that walk through my yard.
I gotta come visit you. I'm gonna bring out me and Evelyn should come visit and hang out.
Yeah,
Jesus.
well, I'm in West Virginia. I'm kind of a hike from you.
No, we go to Illinois all the time.
No, well, that's a long ass drive.
It's like
Uh,
14 hours.
I'm just if you fly, it's gonna suck for everyone because it is a 2 hour drive from where I am to the nearest airport.
Oh no, no, we'd probably end up driving up.
Yeah, well, I'm probably having a housewarming party in either early spring or late summer, early fall.
Okay. Well, but anyway, how much more news we got to cover?
What did we talk about anyway? The Supreme
We've
Court.
gone down so many rabbit holes tonight.
I know.
Last
Well,
thing,
that's
huh?
that's what makes the show fun.
Oh yeah, this is true. This is true.
Oh, the Supreme Court has officially said that Virginia is allowed to clear the non-citizens from the voter rolls.
Oh, that's awesome. That I've actually heard that one. That why wouldn't you do that though? That's
Well,
seriously my
okay,
question.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because you're supposed to do it 90 days out, which is past the window to register to vote. So it's not like you can go and register after the fact. And it'll give anyone who has standing to vote to contest it for whatever reason. Now, I'm not saying they wiped out a whole bunch of actual citizens because Virginia gives you four chances to say, no, actually, I'm sorry, I am a citizen. But you were supposed to do it 90 days out. Why didn't you do it before the window closed?
Fair point. Uh, I can see where this would become a legal issue. Like
Yeah,
seriously.
it did become a legal issue. That's why the Supreme Court got involved.
Well, I mean, okay, so here's the biggest problem for me though, is like how many times is the court dragged its feet on something that actually really mattered? That's the problem that I'm enthused that we're getting people off of the voting roll that don't need to be there, but
Yes, but again, all you had to do to avoid all this was do it 3 months before the election.
yeah, I completely understand that one, but
It's frustrating.
yeah, we live in a bureaucratic nightmare where you can't even get your grandmother's death certificate unless it's filled out in triplicate.
All right. Well, you know what? I got a couple more of these. What's going on with the vote? Like, Tlaib is not endorsing Harris. I honestly don't care.
No.
Uh, oh, Brian messaged us. Apparently Brian. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold on.
Did he pass out?
Oh, probably, but I am sorry. 2 minutes ago. Okay. He
He
probably got. Oh, he's there. We go. Hey, I got the I am sorry. Then he's coming back to the show. He passed out on the toilet. Watch. We're gonna find out right now. Come on, put your headphones on, Brian. Of course he's not. But yeah, Rashida Tlaib. She's one of the what do they call
the
them?
squad. She's a member of the squad,
The
and
squad.
she's Muslim. So of course she's not going to back Harris after the freaking whole Israel debacle.
Yeah.
She's trying to keep the votes, trying to keep her job going.
We all got a whole thing about war that we could talk about, but I really don't care. Honestly, I mean, uh, what's going on in Israel? What's going on in Ukraine? The United States getting involved. I don't care.
Okay,
I'm not-
there's only one article you need to worry about when it comes to war overseas, and that's the fact that China is not getting involved.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's the
Uh,
only article you need to worry because once China gets involved, that means all bets are kind of off. North Korea,
I,
nobody really pays attention to. Russia's
North
proved,
Korea, they're saber rattling hard, and apparently the Russians don't like it, but they're helping them anyway.
yeah,
Um, and Zelensky's fucking going nuts about the North Koreans getting involved, and we need all this shit. I'm like, dude, I don't care.
yeah. Honestly, we shouldn't even be there, but at the same point is it's the money bank for all the freaking corrupt politicians here in the States. Um, I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist when I say that, but
No, the people that are making decisions about when we blow shit up are the ones that can also buy Lockheed Martin and Raytheon right before we sign a giant contract with them.
fair point.
I mean, look, come on, her. Nancy Pelosi. I mean, her husband seems to make the best stock investments ever right before the Senate makes a decision. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it's absolutely insane. But like I said, the only news that you need to worry about is China's not getting involved. And I guarantee you I know why.
Because
Um,
they don't want to get involved in this fight.
no, they're actually taking advantage of Russia. at this point in time because Russia's pretty much cut off from the rest of the world due to the sanctions and stuff. So China's getting all that natural gas, all that freaking raw minerals and stuff like that are coming out of Russia for like pennies on the dollar. And on top of that, China is like, okay, why would we subject ourselves to throwing our men and our equipment in an issue that's just either A, going to only help out Russia, or B, it's going to expose us for being not as good as the US.
Mm,
It's a lose-lose for them since they're winning the whole thing.
yeah, we're making money and we're not in a fight.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to.
All right. Well, one thing I want to bring up before we go is Steve Bannon is out of jail.
Really?
Yes. Released, I believe, yesterday. But I am going to go ahead and hit the end of show music.
Okay.
Sit around and wait though, because you and I need to talk for a couple minutes, and I need to pee something gnarly. But that is our show. All them beers are catching up with me.
That's our
Quay, you
shit.
got anything you want to shout out?
Oh, no, not at the moment.
All right. Oh shoot, I forgot what button I need. I almost left the entire conversation instead of just stopping the recording. Later, everyone.
All right.